Now to the UK, and it's the country is drawing up plans to invite Donald Trump for an official state visit to Britain, as Prime Minister Theresa May seeks to strengthen relations with the next U.S. president. Well, Trump would be the guest of Queen Elizabeth II and would be likely to stay at Buckingham Palace. The visit is under consideration for 2017. That's according to May's spokeswoman, Helen Bower. Let's discuss this further now with Jonathan Sacerdoti, our correspondent in the British capital. Jonathan, good evening. Jonathan, I seem to remember discussions with you not very long ago where we discussed that the British members of Parliament had considered banning Trump from the UK. Now a potential state visit may be underway. Are we seeing a change of heart towards him?
That's right. Only in January we had that parliamentary debate about banning Donald Trump. Now, of course, that wasn't something that was proposed by any of the MPs themselves. It was one of those debates triggered by a public petition on the official government site, which allows for members of the public to get enough people to sign up that something is then debated in Parliament. But plenty of MPs did speak out in no uncertain terms about what low esteem they held President-elect now, Trump, in, and they have had to eat their words somewhat, because now we're seeing the government preparing this possible state visit for next year, when he will, of course, be president, as Britain is very keen to show that the special relationship that's so often talked about between the two countries is as strong as ever.
Well, Jonathan, why is the UK seemingly rushing to organize such a high-profile visit so soon after his victory?
At the moment, of course, Britain's in a very precarious state internationally, what with the vote from the people to leave the European Union. So it's really in the interests of the government to be able to show that they're able to keep good relations, especially with countries like the United States. That special relationship I mentioned, which involves close cooperation in so many different areas and fields, is going to be all the more important as Britain is trying to negotiate its way out of the European Union. Of course, Barack Obama was called in at the last minute to give a speech about how Britain would be at the back of the queue for negotiating a trade deal with the US, and Donald Trump has said quite the opposite, that Britain would be at the front of the queue. So it seems that this is an attempt on both parts for the two countries to re-strengthen a relationship which some felt was somewhat weakened by that intervention of Mr. Obama in the Brexit debate.
Yes, Donald Trump changing the game once again, it seems. Jonathan Sacerdoti, our London correspondent, thank you very much for being with me for this. And that concludes this bulletin from the